Welcome back. Another day, another vlog. Hope you're all well out there in podcast land, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching from. Thanks for stopping by. I much appreciate. Great to see you all again. I know I probably can't really see you, but I just imagine you're all at the back of that lens, so near that sensor somewhere. Pixels, people, I guess if you look at it, depends which way you look at it. All come from carbon. I guess is another way to look at it. Hope you all had a good day. Monday, it's Tuesday today, not Monday. I thought it was Monday, but it's actually Tuesday. Definitely need to fly out. We've got one more night tonight. We just finished night shift, so we've got one last night tonight. It's our last sleep today. And then we are out of here, which is good. 2 weeks is enough, I think. I do feel for the guys that have some of the East Coasters that have been here doing the 5, so they're doing 2 weeks and they fly out for 1 week, then back, so they don't get to see their family and stuff for 5 weeks. So it's definitely no fun. I do remember the older days when I was young, or my younger days when you just go bush. It was all right when you're young, but once you get to my age with a family, it's a lot different. It's a lot harder for anyone to sort of be away from their loved ones, no matter what it is. It's either work or whatever. It's never much fun. So feelings with you, and I do appreciate it. Getting home bit is the best part of the whole swing, is the knowing you're flying out and you're going to get home and see me little buddy Jack and my beautiful wife. So that's awesome. Did get a bit of work done yesterday after work, so that was all right. I started on this week's video is already done. I'll put it up at the end of this week, which is good. So it gives me a little bit of breathing space to get some other stuff done, as well as get the daily vlog done once I'm home. I really want to, since I'm far ahead, I thought about it last night. This could be a good week to start my website. I've been struggling to find the time to sit down and get it done. I've got Thursday, Friday, which I'll be home, so I'm going to try and smash out, get that website up and running and get that started. That's a big, excuse me, that's a big thing I really want to get done over this period. So I've got this week's videos ready to go. I'm just going to upload that. I've just got to do some stuff with the thumbnail today. Make sure that's all good. Check it all out, and then that'll be up at the end of the week, and that'll take me to the next week when I come back to work. So I'm a little bit advanced. I've started the next week's video looking at the photos. It's another hike, one from round camp. It's a really good one. It's a little bit. That one's going to be pretty special to me. There's a little spot there I sort of named after me dad. So I think it's a pretty cool little spot. It's a beautiful part of this area. So I think eventually it's going to be just destroyed and blown up and turned into a big hole in the ground. But it's a beautiful part of the country, so I'm really glad I got it. This is the one spot I'm hanging for when it starts raining here, that I can get back, because there's a waterfall there that no one knows about. I think I've probably the only one I know from work that's been in that area that actually, and no one's ever seen this waterfall, so I'm pretty chuffed, and I named it after me dad. So Bob Falls, look out for that one. That'll be next week's, not this weekend, but next weekend video coming up. So that's a work in progress, and it's looking good. Got some really nice photos, and I have been playing a little bit with the Luminar 4. That's going really well. It is an amazing bit of kit. I guess there's some, you've got sort of, you think there's two schools. There's the old school and then the new school. There's take the photo and that's how the image is, or you've got people, I guess you got people that make magical creations with using photos and then splice it all together to make it an art, I guess, art. And then I think there's sort of that hybrid zone, I guess I would call it, where it's a photography, but I guess you use other just bits to fine tune it and to accentuate the image that you're trying to create. And I think a lot of that, and a big thing that I think Luminar has done really well, is the skies. I've did a fair bit of work yesterday just playing with it and just seeing what I could do. And there's a couple of photos where I had just, like, there's nothing you can do about it. You can plan all you want. skies are really tricky to get really nice ones. That's why people do sunsets and then sunrises, because you have that beautiful orange glow. You can sort of guess clouds, but I don't have much choice here. I've pretty much got one day a swing to get out to shoot, so I've got to just take what I get. And that was this one. I've got a lot of blue skies in this, so I thought, well, this is perfect, ideal to play with the photos. And I've got some nice photos, great landscapes, just blue, pure blue skies, just gorgeous. It was a gorgeous day. Nothing wrong with it, but there's just sort of nothing in there to sort of suit the photo. So I did have a play with it, and a couple of photos come up really good. And they're not, you can't tell, like, or I guess if realistically you could probably tell if you're really pixel peeping, but it's amazing how you can just put a subtle bit of cloud in there just to break up that blue, and that's all you need. And I don't know, depending on where you stand in photography and how you feel, I just figure if it makes people happy, then that's what it's all about. So yeah, I think there's a couple there. I will mark them when I put them in the video, because I think it's a good example to see what can be done and what actually, I guess, I've done to it. So you can sort of see that it's really not a massive change. I don't think it completely changes the whole photo, but it just gives it, I guess, just accentuates it a bit, I guess. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's a very powerful tool. I'm still learning it. If you want to have a play with it, don't forget there's a link down below. You can go there and get a little bit of a discount. You don't have to. There are trials, so you don't have to pay for it. You can go in and have a bit of a play, and then you can go in and buy it. Get the basic package. I think it's like 50, 60 bucks or something, but it's actually really, really cool, and it's a lot of fun. You can do some funky stuff, and what I found, which is the best thing for it, is I think it's going to be super handy for me, is thumbnails. So these guys doing thumbnails, I've got better at it, and I can now go in and cut my images out to use myself in the images, which I'm getting a lot better with through Photoshop. But then there's the background. What do you do with the background? And I think that's where Luminar is going to be really, really handy, because you've got space shuttles and moons and stuff in there, and that's what that thumbnail is. That thumbnail is all about grabbing and getting something, and I think Luminar will be super, super mega handy for me in that. So if you're having a bit of trouble with thumbnails, getting something interesting in there, or you've got some okay photos and it's just a pain to go and chop and change and do stuff, try Luminar 4, give that a crack. I think that will be super mega handy, and it's really quick. There's no selecting and pasting and layers and stuff that you got to Photoshop. We all know Photoshop's a fantastic tool, but you really got to know what you're doing, and it takes a bit of time. So thumbnails, you don't want to spend 5 days making a thumbnail. That's just insanity. I just couldn't focus that long enough. I spend enough of them as it is, and I'm just not good enough at Photoshop yet. I'm very much still an amateur. But this Luminar, I think it's going to be really, really cool, and I'll be able to get some funky stuff in those thumbnails with that tool. So definitely go check it out for that. If you're having trouble with thumbnails, I think that is a bit of a game changer, that Luminar. So that'll be very cool for you. Rightio. Wow. Wattling on, but yeah, I think it was good. I've probably spent about an hour, 2 hours. I've got to get it. By the time that next video comes out, I reckon I'll probably spend a good week with it, and I think it's going to hopefully show in the photos, and I'll be able to explain a bit more and what parts to go and try and do in it. So give it a crack. Mike Tyson, holy crap, he's come back. If you haven't already heard, he is doing a fight with Roy Jones Jr. It's been approved. It's all locked in and loaded. It's a exhibition fight. That's the word I was looking for. I'm not sure on how many rounds or what it's going to be. I don't think an exhibition is going to be a full 12 rounds fight. He's looking super fit. $1 million bucks. Like, I don't think any normal human would even get into the ring with him now, even at his, what is he, like late 50s, I think, or early mid 50s, and mate, he's still got the speed. Holy crap! There's a couple of little photos floating him around, or bits of video where he's doing some sparring and stuff. And man, I can't move that fast, and I ain't his age. So good on him. I'm sure it's going to be a little bit of fun for him and Roy Jones Jr. Be a good little fight, even if it's like a 5-round thing. I think that'd be perfect. Nothing so they bloody kill themselves, but just enough for them to go in and give themselves a good touch up and just sort of get that adrenaline back up. And I think that's probably more so what it's going to be for him. You can imagine being someone that's your whole life you spent doing that, and it's hard to switch off. I know with baseball, I still see baseball, and I retired this year and I'm done, and that's it. You still think about it. It's still in your head, and I'm sure it's the same with any sportsman, and especially fighters that it's in here, and like just getting just a touch of it and a bit of a flavour of it in your lips is going to be enough to satiate him for a little bit longer. So. Look, I think it'll be cool. I don't know if it's going to be a knockout, but he is looking pretty sharp. He is a favourite. I think you've got to put $350 on to get $100 back at the moment. So I don't think anyone's going to be making any money, but I'm sure it's going to be fun. And I think one of the YouTube boys that always fight, not KSI, the American guy. I can't even remember his name. He's sort of gone. One of those guys is the before act. So it's going to be a bit of a show. It'll be a bit of fun and great to see him out running around. Good on him. Now, there is a patent out there for active cooling from Canon for the RF model. Now, it did have an EF to an RF mount for this active cooling. It talks about the requirement of special flexible polymers that would connect to the IBIS. Obviously, with the IBIS moving, it's really tricky to cool it. So some sort of these polymers to connect to that to allow the heat to escape through these and then obviously vent out somehow. So they are looking at it. That was a 2019 patent. This was off Canon Rumors. They had a picture of it. I think it's sort of something that obviously they know that's an issue once you get up to these powerful codecs and sensors and stuff. So you never know, it might be coming out. We'll talk a little bit about it now. Also, there's a company called Tilta, which have designed a heat sink, which you would have seen on the thumbnail, which basically goes, you open up your flippy screen and that base in the back there, you mount this straight in there. That pushes up right to the back of the camera, where I'm assuming that they've done some tests, and that's where the heat is. Use aluminium cores and a chip and everything to suck that heat out, and a fan. They reckon it can. It's pretty noisy though. That's the only thing. It's 34 decibels, and it's right near your camera. I don't know how that's going to go for sound if you've got a mic directly on it. So you're probably going to have to use external mics to get your sound, get clean sound out of it. And but it will take it down 82 degrees Fahrenheit in reduction. So that's pretty good. How it'll work, we need to see it obviously in there. But yeah, go check out Tilta. Mate, they're straight on the ball. They must have been planning this for a little bit, knowing 8K was coming. They've probably looked at the old R series and checked all the body styles because it looks pretty sharp. Very, very cool and good on them. MSI has come out the world's first mini LED laptop. It's called the Creator 17 4K. It's got a 1000 nit screen on it. It's just insane. Full array local dimming. So mini LED, if you haven't heard of that, you've got OLED, but that can sort of black spot and eventually after a while you can get some damage out of it. With mini LEDs, basically you get control of those little mini LEDs to the RGBs down there, and you have a full color gamuts, and it's pretty good. As well as what you get out of it, and it's probably the biggest thing. As part of your screen, you'll get you might see some ghosting. So basically, a normal LED screen, there'll be a light at the backlight that'll go across. With mini LED, they'll basically be able to have lights exactly where the whites are and where everything is. So it really is going to give you really crisp, clear colours. LEDs, so they'll last forever. You don't get any ghost. You shouldn't get as much ghosting, and it won't get that sort of freeze of the picture eventually in there that OLEDs can do. So very, very cool tech. It's the next way. It's where TV's going to be going. That's the next step. Obviously, you can fit a lot in with mini LEDs, and I think they looked at it. It's 2 centimetre squares. There's going to be 250 squares as part of that 17-inch screen, and they can control every one of those ones individually to get the lighting perfect. So pretty darn cool. A great step forward. You're going to see a lot more of that technology in TVs, I'd say, in 2021, because after that comes micro LEDs. So where you've got the mini LEDs and you're going to have like a 2 centimetre square of your dimmable area. Once those micro coming out, which is the goal, they've got them now, but it's mega dollars, like hundreds of thousands of dollars for a TV. That micro LED will allow thousands and thousands of local dimming areas just on a laptop. So a big screen TV will be millions. So it's all changing. It's coming, and it's coming quick. This is the first one. Look, the computer's got everything else, all the fruit in it that you can imagine in a high-end laptop. The refresh rate's not super mega awesome. It's a new screen, it's new tech, but it's got all the graphics cards, all that. You can go check it out. Go check out, excuse me, MSI, and you can go read it out. So yeah, huge news. Mini LED first and foremost. There was talk Apple was going to get it first. Obviously not. Big ups to MSI. Now the big one today, well, I think it's today. The date will be today, the 28th. We all know the new Sony A7s III is due today on this date. I'm assuming that's American time, not Australian date. So they're obviously 12 to 14 hours behind us. It's still the 27th over there. But so late tonight, if you're a Sony fan, this is the day. Go check that out. Specs are up. We've got some leaked images for you. So we've got the full pictures. We know pretty much all these specs are pretty much locked in as now. 12 megapixel, FHD, 240 frames per second, 4K 120, 10-bit 422, 4K 120 RAW, HDMI only. So that's all on HDMI. Now, it's only going to do 4K 60 internal. So doesn't give you those up specs. That could be a reason, I'd say, a lot for heat reasons. So we'll be interested to see if this is all locked in and loaded. Downsampled 1080 from 4K. Now that's going to make a big difference to that 1080. Basically, it's taking a 4K picture and it's going to crush it down to a 1080. But obviously, it's going to be a lot better picture. So that's really good for the 1080 side, and that's realistically all you need. Unless you're doing proper productions, 1080 at this quality is going to be fantastic. Perfect for YouTube. That's pretty much all it runs on anyway. So that's fine. It won't have any internal RAW, so that's a little bit strange. I guess I'm assuming they're the same video. I'm assuming there wasn't much talk at all about the photography side of it. Considering it's a hybrid, you want to hear a little bit about the photography side. Pretty much I've got nothing on that. It's all they're talking about is video with this one, so we'll have to wait and see on the photography side. 600 megabits per second, bit rate. Base ISO is 160 on SL3 on that's at Sony log. Max ISO 409,000. That's in video mode. 16-bit raw output. 15 stops dynamic range. Now that's a big one. That's going to make a big difference on the video. You go from your big contrasty, from your shadows to your bright. That's the really hard one to get with these cheaper cameras. Your big cinema cameras handled really well. It'd be interesting. That's going to make a big difference. We've talked before about that EVF, 9.4 million EVF. It's going to have the AR4's autofocus system, which is probably the best you can get at the moment. So that's really cool. Passive cooling system, not much else on that. I guess we'll hear more about that once it releases tonight. Now, this is something that I hadn't seen before. I knew it was going to have 2 card slots. But what they're saying with those card slots, they're a bit of a universal. They're both for UHS-2 and the CF Express card. So I'm assuming you can use the SD cards and CF Express cards in the one slot. Brilliant. Absolutely bloody brilliant if that's the case. Well done, Sony. Why Canon didn't think of that? I don't know if Sony's got the patent for that technology, but that is bloody brilliant. Good on yous. Well done. That fixes every issue in that regard. So apart from the fact you should just have a USB-C going straight to one of these, which is what every camera should be looking at now. Forget SD cards. When I can, that is light as a feather. I should be able to just strap that on my camera and record straight to that. All my photos, everything. I don't know why you'd want an SD card anymore. So this is the future, I think. If hopefully, and there's not much talk about it, they do have a USB-C or a Thunderbolt port in there that you can do that. That would be insane. We'll find out tonight. It's got an articulated screen. They're saying it's going to be $4,000 US, which is a little bit above the R5. So will be interesting to see on the price, and shipping will be mid-August. So all happening. Can't wait to see that. This has been a long time coming. I don't know how many videos I've seen with the people begging and hoping and dreaming and wishing about a Sony. I guess I've only had to wait like a year or so for the new M50, which is due out the end of this year. Fingers crossed. So I can only imagine for these guys that love their Sony stuff that they've had to wait 2 or 3 years to get the new camera. Good on them. It's all happening tonight. You'll find out tonight and you'll be ready to go. So a little bit of fun. Christmas in July, I guess. Canon and for Sony. So very, very cool. And that's about it. I will see yous. What's today? It'll be an afternoon show when I put it up tomorrow, because obviously I'm flying home. So it'll be get this done probably late afternoon before I put it up. So have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you all then. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great day. Cheers. Wherever you're going that way, I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.